मला BFS चं दे. BFS तुझं कॉलेज पाठवून दे की संपून टाक. होय साइन मेन काय नाहीच आहे. फक्त ते 18 आहे की नाही बघ 18 स्कीम 18च असणार की. Okay, good morning everyone.
Morning, sir.
Morning. Okay, we'll wait for some time. Only 8 people have joined so far. So we'll just wait for some time and then we'll get started. Okay, and one thing that I'll be putting in the WhatsApp group also, and you also inform all your friends. Your exams tentatively would be next Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That is, I guess, 15, 16, 17.
Sir, why it is not written, sir?
Sorry?
Sir, why the exam is not written in the written format?
Written format, because online taking written formats and then correcting becomes difficult, so we are taking it online.
So online in the sense like Google Forms only?
Yes, just like what happened in the second semester.
Yes.
So I'll put a notice, maybe today or Monday I'll put a notice, but you all be prepared with whatever is covered. Most of the faculty's syllabus would be, syllabus for the IITS portion for the IITS would be whatever is covered so far. That is almost 2 modules by each, okay, or whatever is covered. Okay, around 15 students have joined, so I'll start sharing and we'll start with the class. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you able to see the screen, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yes. So in the previous class, if you remember, we had stopped here where we studied the different types of metrics. Okay, so I'm repeating, metrics is a tool which is used for measurement uh, of the various functions of HR. Okay, so it measures the various functions of HR, and it basically judges whether what is the performance, whether it is underperforming or overperforming, and whether it is um, leading to the achievement of the goals and objectives of the organization. That is what HR matrix basically deals with. Okay, so if you remember, I stopped here. Okay, in the significance of HR matrix. Okay, so what are the significance, or why HR matrix is required? What is the importance of HR matrix? Let's understand that now. Okay, so significance of HR matrix. First one is eliminates confusion. Okay, so HR involves lots of communication. HR involves lots of decision making and lots of communication. Now, what happens is when an employee or when a manager receives multiple communication from multiple people, okay, it leads to confusion. For example, let's say, okay, today you are my employees, let's say, or your students. Okay, today I say the IIT tests are scheduled on 15, 16, 17, and it would be online mode. Okay, immediately some other faculty will come and say the IIT test would be on 13, 14, 15, and it would be offline mode. Then third faculty will come and say it is probably in the next week. So what happens when there are multiple sources of communications? It leads to confusion. Okay, so what happens with matrix is, when in case of matrix, the communication is very clear. Okay, people know what they are supposed to do because it has already been told to them. This is, okay, the criterias are set, and on the basis of those criterias itself they have to work. Okay, they have to work within that framework, within that matrix itself. So they know what they are supposed to do. So there is less confusion because matrix avoid multiple communications from to the managers, from the managers, or to the employees, from the employees, whatever it may be. But it avoids multiple, or uh, okay, let's use the word multiple itself. It avoids multiple communication. Okay, so that is what eliminates confusion is. Second is focusing on high priority issues. Okay, now let me take a simple example. Okay, have you ever made a matrix where you have said where you have done this high priority or time management? In time management, we basically do this matrix where we write important, urgent, important, not urgent, not important, urgent, not important, not urgent. Have you heard about this? Four uh, quadrants where we use for time management. Have you ever come across this particular matrix where these have four quadrants: important, not important, urgent, important, not urgent, not important, urgent, and not important, not urgent? Anyone?
No, sir.
No?
No, sir.
Yeah, so I'll just explain you this. Okay, basically this is a tool for time management, and a very effective tool. Even you can try it out for your personal life also. Okay, like what happens here is, okay, let's say there are, okay, I'll just try to draw it. Okay, I don't know how good I'll be in drawing this. Okay, so let's say there are four quadrants. Okay, there are four quadrants. Okay,
So is it the Heisenhower?
sorry.
Is it the Heisenhower, some person who developed it?
Sorry, I'm really not aware. Very sorry for that. Okay, I'll just get back to you if you
Okay.
want the name of the person who has done it. I'll get back to you on that.
No,
But
no.
right now, I really don't know. Okay. Yeah. So basically, what happened here? Okay. Here, suppose let's say we have urgent, okay, or urgent and important. Okay, urgent and important. Fine. Whereas here we have urgent, okay, but not important. Okay, please pardon me for the writing because I'm doing it using a mouse. Okay, whereas here it is not urgent, okay, but it is important. Okay, and here it is not urgent, but and not important also. Okay, so these are the four quadrants that you basically have. Any work you say, you can divide it into these four uh, parameters or four factors. Okay, so first one is urgent and important. Now these are the works that you are going to give priority. Okay, the most of the priority would be given to this work. because it is urgent and it is important also. You have to do it immediately. You cannot postpone this. You have to do it immediately, and you have to do it with utmost care because it is very important work. Okay, here it is urgent and not important. Okay, you have to do it now. You have to do it now. If you want to do it, you have to do it now, but it's not so important. So you can think over it whether you need to do it or no. If you want to do it, yes, you have to do it immediately because it's urgent, but it is not so important. Okay, then this particular quadrant talks about not urgent but important. So here it is important, you have to do it, but it's not so urgent, you can postpone it a bit. Okay, not like the above quadrant where, let's name it, this is 1, okay, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. Okay, so it's not like quadrant 1 where it is important also and you have to do it immediately, you cannot postpone it. Whereas in case of the third quadrant, it is important, you have to do it, but you can postpone it. Okay, whereas last one is not important, not urgent at all, you can postpone it, you cannot, you should not do it, or you may skip it also because it's not important, neither it is urgent. Okay, so for example, urgent and important is, let's say, attending classes. You have to do it now itself. It's important and you have to do it now. You cannot postpone attending the classes. Okay, urgent but not important. Okay, like urgent but not important might be, okay, let me see, say, okay, when you go for your library books, okay, I give a notice where you have to collect your library books. Okay, so I give you a date, like it is in within this date itself you have to collect your library books for lending. Okay, so it is urgent because there is a specific date, you have to do it within that date itself. Maybe 1 or 2 days are given only, right? But not so important because you may have your own books. Okay, or you may take books on borrowings, you may not require lending books. Okay, or your faculty gives you notes, so you don't require textbooks at all. Okay, so that may be a case here. Okay, not always, but a general example is what I'm telling you here. Not urgent but important. Not urgent but important means, let's say, uh, submitting your assignments. Okay, submitting your submission date is, let's say, 20th of October. Now it's not urgent, you have time till 20th of October, but it is important, you have to submit your assignments. Okay, so that is not urgent because you have time. Okay, so you can postpone it a bit, but it is important, you have to complete it. Whereas not urgent not important is, let's say, going out with friends, not so important right now, it's not urgent also, you can postpone it. Okay, or going for a movie, okay, etc., etc., which does not, is not productive at all. Okay, in terms of studies, in terms of your career, these things are not so productive right now. Okay, I'm not saying friends are not important. Okay, so don't get me wrong there, but right now going out in this situation is not important, and it's not urgent also, you can postpone it. Okay, so these are the quadrants. This is your time management tool which we use. Okay, so in the same way, what happens here is, when you prepare such metrics, I'm not talking this metrics only, but when you prepare such metrics, what happens, you are focusing on high priority issues. Now you know what, which are the issues that are on priority, which you have to do it immediately, which requires urgent and important, which are urgent and important, and you have to do it immediately. So matrix helps you in focusing on high priority issues. Then it helps in continuous improvement. Now how does it help in continuous improvement is, when you have a matrix, okay, it's not that you prepare only one matrix for the entire life. Okay, you keep on having matrix for different time periods. Let's say you are preparing matrix on a monthly basis, so every month you have matrix. Okay, and these matrices or metrics, okay, what you call it as, okay, these metrics, okay, uh, when you have monthly matrix available, okay, you can compare your performance. Okay, let's say you have a BCG matrix of your company, and you find you were into the question mark, or you were into the cash cows. Okay, you move to question mark, then you move to stars, and now again you are moving to cash cows. That means there is some issue going on, like you moved up and now you're going down again. Okay, so this is possible using a matrix. So what happens when this happens is, when you are able to compare, okay, there is continuous improvement because you want to perform better than the previous always. Okay, in the first semester you scored 60%, let's say. Okay, in the second semester you want to score at least more than 60%, you want to, at least, right? So that leads to continuous improvement. So the comparison of different matrix helps you in continuous improvement. Third one is change individual behavior. Now, how does basically individual behavior is completely different. Okay, so how do you change individual behavior? Okay, let's imagine, okay, there are two employees, employee A and employee B, and I have, as a HR manager, I have drawn a performance matrix of A and performance matrix of B. And what I do is, okay, I find that A has performed better than B. Fine. Now what I do is I send both the metrics to both the employees. Now what will happen when I send both the metrics to both the employees? First of all, A, okay, normal tendency is A will first see what B has done, what is the performance of B. In the similar way, B will first see what is the performance of A, and then he will see his performance. Am I right? That is what you do. When you get your marks, when you get your results, you're not worried about how much you have scored. You're worried about how much your friend has scored. Am I right? Guys, you're there with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So every time whenever you get a result, you are more worried about your friend's marks. Right?
No, sir.
Some exceptions are there, Rohin. Okay, but
Yes.
whatever you say yes or no, but you definitely will ask your friends how much you have scored.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir. That will ask. Yes, sir.
It's normal human tendency, and if you don't do that, then maybe that particular person is not normal.
Yes, sir.
Okay, हमेशा हम बोलते हैं कि बाजू वाले की बीवी ही अच्छी लगती है, because we compare बीवी और पति, whatever it is. Okay, but yes, it's a fact that our behavior is such that we tend to compare things. Okay, हमारे पास मर्सिडीज है लेकिन बाजू वाले के पास फरारी है, we are not happy. Okay, हमारे पास फरारी है लेकिन बाजू वाले के पास एयरक्राफ्ट है, we are not happy. Okay, so always this is what happens. Okay, and that is how HRs make use of this behavior. Okay, so what happens is when I send these two matrix to A, let's say employee A, okay, he is elated because he sees B's performance and he sees his own performance, and he finds that he has overperformed B. He is performing better than B, so his confidence level is very high. Okay, he is high on confidence level, and when his confidence level is high, he tries to continue that. Am I right? Okay, like let's say Rohan, let me take your example only. Let's say you have scored highest in the first semester. Okay, you know that you have topped the class in the first semester. Won't you like to continue that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Of course, sir.
You will, right? So what
Yes,
happens
sir.
when you get the result, okay, in the first semester, when you get the result and you find that you are the topper, okay, your confidence is very high now. You're very excited and you're not overconfident, but your confidence levels are very high. And what happens in that is your performance improves because you want to continue that. You want to continue to be first. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
In the employee A, the behavior changes, highly motivated, highly performance oriented, and highly productive. Whereas, let's take example of employee B. Now in employee B, what happens? Okay, he sees employee A's performance and then he compares with himself. He finds A's performance is better. Now what happens is he feels bad about it, like he is not performing. So he gets motivated. He wants to overperform A now. So what happens in that case? He will try to improve himself. He will give his best. He will try to improve his productivity, and he will try to overcome A's performance, right? So his productivity also increases in that case. So what is happening in both the cases? The behavior is changing. The behavior is changing because of sharing the matrix now. And that is how matrix helps you, because it is easy to understand who has performed how much in a matrix. Okay, so clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Everybody's clear with what is this change individual behavior? So A's behavior has changed, B's behavior has also changed. Any doubts here?
No, sir.
Everybody's clear? Okay, fine. Next one is changes behaviors of managers. Can somebody tell me how the manager's behavior change here because of matrix? Any idea?
So metrics basically show how the employees perform
Correct.
or how motivated they are
Correct.
uh, or if they are efficient or not. So looking at all the data, there might be some problem with the manager, and he realizes that
Correct.
okay, I shouldn't be adopting this method to motivate my employees,
Very
or I
good.
shouldn't be adopting this method to increase the efficiency of my employees. So he starts changing himself. So.
Perfect. Perfect. The answer is bullseye, right? Okay. So basically, the manager will come to know the performance of various individuals or various employees who are working under him. Okay. And he also tries to find out where they are lagging and why they are lagging, or what are the factors that will motivate them, because he has metrics of everything. Okay. So when he knows what are the factors that motivates him, basically the rewards, we are talking about rewards. So if you find that rewards is one thing that will motivate the employees in performing better, okay, he will change his behavior. Okay, from maybe he will start implementing things which will reward the employees. Okay, he'll start giving rewards for each and every achievements that they do, and that will elevate the motivational levels of the employees, in turn their productivity. Okay, so that brings in change with the in the behavior of the managers also, because he comes to know how he has to tackle each and every individual. Okay. Yes, Jasvina had raised her hand. If you have any points, Jasvina, you can just pitch in.
Yes, sir. So, a good manager is the one, like, because of the manager, the entire team works together. In your team, which is given to you, you should treat everyone equally and be friendly with everyone so that your team never lags back. And always your department will be like, it will be a cut above others. If you know how to manage your employees will love you. But the minute you say I am the one, I am the best and all, nobody comes near you. So even if you treat your entire staff from your
Jasvina,
lower division.
Jasvina,
Yes, sir.
listen to me. Whatever you're saying is
Yes, sir.
absolutely right.
So
Absolutely.
and the attendance level will be very high in your team
Listen,
whenever
listen,
you have an.
listen first. Okay, listen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, first of all, okay, whatever you're saying is not wrong. Okay, it's right. But when you talk about this context of matrix and
Yes,
change
sir.
behavior of manager, we are
Hmm.
talking about that. Okay, how does matrix helps in changing the behavior of the manager?
So through rewards, any kind of bonuses, any kind of trips that we have.
Yes.
So this will also change the behavior towards the of the manager.
Yes, yes. Basically, though the matrix helps the manager in taking decisions. He has a lot of data with him. He has lots of matrix
Hmm.
with him, and from that he can compare as to what is really happening in the organization and how can he improve that situation. So that matrix gives him a picture to analyze, and he can implement things according to the matrix or the data given by the matrix, and he brings in a change in his behavior because he has to make some changes in the culture now. Am I right? And that is how
Yes, sir.
helps in changing the behavior of the manager.
Yes, sir.
Okay, next one is stop unproductive activities. Okay, again let's go back to that example of the time management matrix that I had just shown. Okay, in that if you see the last fourth quadrant, it was not important, not urgent. Okay, that means they are the activities which are not productive at all. So when you draw a matrix, you know, okay, these are the high priority activities. These are the second high priority activities. These are the third high priority, which are whereas the last one are not at all productive. They are not giving us anything. We are not gaining anything from those activities. Okay, so cut it off. Stop those unproductive activities. Now, how is it possible? Only by drawing a matrix. Is it clear? Are you clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, great. Then next one is coordination. Definitely coordination increases because a matrix is a combination. Okay, it is a interrelationship between various departments. So each and every department is aware of what they have to do. Plus, they also know that they cannot do it alone. Now, a car cannot be manufactured just by the engine department. The paint department is required, the assembly department is required, the tire department is required. Okay, all these departments are equally essential to build a car. Am I right? Okay, so what happens here is each and every department is given specific responsibilities as per the matrix. Okay, and the interrelationship between those processes are also mentioned. So each and every department knows I cannot do it alone. I have to be dependent on the other. Okay, and that is the reason why they coordinate. Okay, production is dependent on purchase. So if the purchase department and production department are not coordinating with each other, there would be loss of production. There would be maybe delay in production, because whatever the production department requires is not available. Purchase department is not giving that. There is a stores department which has no coordination at all, right? So everything goes for a toss. Whereas a matrix helps you in assigning the responsibilities of each and every department, and it also tells the interrelationship between each and every department. So they know what they have to do. They know they are dependent on whom. Okay, so that is how the coordination increases. Okay, that is why HR matrix is very important. Build self-confidence. As okay, this is quite related to your change in behavior, change in individual behavior. As I said, if you are a high performer, you come to know from your matrix that you are a high performer. Okay, your confidence levels boosts up. Okay, and when your confidence levels are very high, you try to maintain that. Okay, that builds your self-confidence. Okay, so I don't want to discuss much about it because I have discussed in length in changing individual behavior there. Okay, next one is rewards. Yes, now you know when you have a matrix drawn, as Jasvina or as Rashmi said, okay, you have a matrix, you know the performance. Now it's very easy to give rewards also. Okay, because you know what happens when you give rewards, because that matrix is also available. Like this, these are the motivating factors. So accordingly, you decide on what rewards to be given to whom. Okay, and when you give those rewards to that particular person who desires or who deserves it, okay, and who desires it also, okay, he is motivated again and his productivity increases. So matrix also helps you in deciding on the proper reward system to the employees. And last one is customer satisfaction, or customers needs are met, we can say. Not exactly satisfaction, but customer needs are met, because everything is properly picturized, everything is properly drawn, so you know what you have to deliver. Okay, when you know what you have to deliver, because you know what is the customer's expectation. So on the one hand, you have the customer's expectation, on the other hand, you know what you need to deliver, and when these two come together, the customers are satisfied. So you are delivering what the customer wants. Okay, so that is how matrix plays a very important role in all these processes. Okay, any doubts in any of these? I don't know how many points are there, around 10, 15, 11 points might be there. So are you clear with all these 10 points? Any doubts in any of the points? Eliminates confusion, focusing on high priority issues, then continuous improvement, change in individual behavior, change in managers' behaviors, stop unproductive activities, coordination, build self-confidence, rewards, and customer satisfaction. Any doubts in any of these? If you're clear, please give a thumbs up quickly so that I can go ahead. Okay, great. Okay, so let's go ahead with the next part, that is use. Now you know it is important. Now where do we use it? Okay, first thing is HR matrix are used in reporting. Okay, rather than writing lengthy paragraphs, okay, pages together, okay, matrix will give you the picture in one shot. Okay, rather than, see, imagine writing SWOT analysis in paragraphs. What will someone come to know? Instead of that, if you put a matrix and write the points, okay, these are the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, okay, it is much easier to interpret it. Okay, so HR matrix helps in proper reporting. Okay, the reporting becomes very easy. If you want to communicate something, report it to the higher ups. reporting it in the form of a HR matrix becomes much easier rather than paragraphs. Okay, so that is one advantage. Second one is dashboards. Okay, dashboards again are kind of models which you develop on Excel or some other analysis tools, okay, which gives you pictures of different uh, aspects of business, especially like let's take example of HR. In HR we have uh, training and motivation, or training and satisfaction. These are the factors, and we just go on changing the training pattern and we try to find out the motivational levels. Okay, so that is how dashboards are prepared. So it's kind of a matrix itself. Okay, where let's say trainings. Okay, there are 10 types of training: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, or let's say ABCD. Okay, training is ABCDEFGHIJ. There are J trainings, 10 trainings, that is A to J, and the motivation level is from 1 to 10. Okay, so what I do is I keep on scrolling. Okay, here I say, okay, first A, motivation level is 1. B, motivation level is 6. Okay, C, motivation level is 4. D, motivation level goes to 10. Okay, so this is how your motivation level keeps on changing, because you have the data and you have analyzed the data. Okay, how did you do that? Maybe you have given training, D type of training to 100 employees, and you tried to do a survey and collect their motivation levels. A type of training to 100 employees and collected their survey and collected their motivation levels, analyzed their motivation levels, and you tried to relate it. And when you related it, you came to know, okay, this is what is required. Okay, so that is how dashboard helps, or dashboard is a kind of a matrix itself which gives you an picture to take decisions. So when I say, okay, here I say training D motivation level is 10, that means training D is the best training that we can provide to increase the motivation level. Okay, take a decision on that. Fine. Next one is data mining. Now what is data mining is, okay, data mining is collection of data basically. Okay, you try to dig the data and you try to take decisions on the basis of that data. Okay, in data mining basically we talk about exploration. First of all, exploration is digging up the data. You try to get as much as data as possible, or selection of data is what we call it as exploration. Second one is model building. From the available data you try to create relationships, you try to create or the different types of analysis you do, maybe an ANOVA or a regression or a correlation, okay, or a chi-square, and all those analysis you do, and you try to create a relationship between 2 3 variables, okay, multiple variables. Okay, when you have this relationship, okay, that model is built. Okay, so you know, if I want to achieve this, these things are important. Okay, if I want to get good marks, I have to attend classes, I have to study regularly, I have to get good marks in IAs, I have to submit the assignments continuously, and then I have to uh, write my final exam paper well. So 5 factors which will affect your performance in the examinations. Okay, so this is what is done in modeling. So when you have a data, okay, you use the data, create models, and once the model is created, you implement that model. Okay, implement that model for performance. So that is what data mining is all about. Okay, implement, or we also call it as deployment. Okay, you deploy the model for working. Okay, then is predictive analysis. Definitely metrics helps you in analyzing or predicting the future, because when you have certain metrics, okay, let's say a growth metrics, fine, when you see a growth matrix and you find that it's continuously growing, then you can expect that in future also it can grow. Or you find that there is a growth and now it has started declining, so you can expect that it may fall now. So this matrix will help you in predicting what will happen in future. Basically, when we do in stock exchanges, okay, those who trade in stock exchanges, okay, they make use of charts. We call it as technical analysis. Okay, in technical analysis, what do? We observe the charts. Now there are different tools which we use, like MACD is there, candle and sticks are there, okay, and n number of other tools are there. Okay, but when we observe the charts and we see, okay, there are 2 ups and then there is a down, and then again there are 2 ups and down, so we try to understand that pattern, and on the basis of that pattern we try to predict. So that pattern or that graph itself becomes a matrix for you, where there are 2 factors. Okay, one is time, another is your share prices, and that is a matrix which you draw, and then you find out, okay, fine, whether the share price may increase now, because the past pattern shows like that. When there are two ups and there is a down, then there is definitely two ups again. Okay, that is what we have seen in the past. So the same thing continues, is what you are predicting. Okay, it may not happen, but you're predicting that. So matrix helps you in predictions also. Now there might be one confusion. When I say matrix, is it only the 4 into 4 matrix, or 3 into 3 matrix, or 2 into 2 matrix? No, it's not that. Okay, it is basically representation of a data where there are different parameters. There may be only 2 parameters, there may be 4 parameters, there may be 8 parameters. So how do you represent that data in the form of a matrix, and then which helps you in taking decisions? So that is what matrix basically is. Next one is operational experimentations. Help basically you do lots of experiments and you try to record those results of those experiments, and then you try to create a model. Through experiments you come to know, okay, these things are not working, throw them out. Then these things are working, okay, create a model out of it, and that would be the standard model which will be used further for the operations. Okay, so that is what operational experiments talks about. So again, matrix is what is important here. And last one is workforce modeling. So basically allotment of work, staffing decisions, okay, recruitment decisions, all these things come under workforce modeling. So again, creating models, that is matrix, okay, and trying to find out how much is required where, how much is not required, okay, and then accordingly taking decisions on recruitment, decisions on promotions, and decisions on retrenchment and demotions. All these things come under workforce modeling. Okay, so this is where matrix is used. It is used for reporting, it is used as dashboards, it is used for benchmarking. Okay, like, okay, I guess benchmarking I left, but yes, I have already spoken about benchmarking when I said two employees compare, or you have a benchmark and you try to reach that. Okay, benchmarking is understanding the best practices and getting at that level is benchmarking. So matrix helps you in achieving that also. Okay, then data mining, predictive analysis, operational experiments, and workforce modeling. Okay, so these are the uses of matrix. So these are the areas where matrix can be used, HR matrix can be used. So are you clear with all these how many 7 uses of HR matrix? Any doubts in any of these? Okay, because I'll be stopping it over here, because next part is benchmarking. So I'll be starting with a new part. I don't want to do it in 3 minutes. It's not possible to complete it in 3 minutes. So I'll be stopping the class here itself. Okay, so I want you to tell me if you're clear with this matrix, types of matrix, then significance and uses. Today, in fact, we dealt with significance and uses. So are you clear with what is the significance of HR matrix, those 10 points, and what is the uses of HR matrix? Around 5 points, I guess. There's 5, 6 points. I don't know. 5, 6, 7 points, whatever. So are you clear with all these points? Any doubts in any of these points? No doubts at all. If you are clear, please give a thumbs up quickly so that I may leave you 2 minutes early. Look at you, the way you are giving me the thumbs up. Okay, great. Okay, so again, see here, now whatever I'm seeing right now is kind of a dashboard. It's kind of a matrix where I can see, okay, all the students, and then they are showing a thumbs up. That means they have understood. And there are some people who have not shown, means they have not understood. Either they have not understood, or they do not know how to give a thumbs up, or they do not want to give a thumbs up. Okay, so that is how I analyze things. Okay, so and live example of how matrix helps in decision making. So I hope you're clear with it. I'll not ask you to give a thumbs up again, because taking it again and again is not correct. Okay, but if you have any doubts, still we are left with 1 minute. If you have any doubts in any of these points, you can feel free to unmute yourself and ask those doubts.
So you'll be sending the notes or slides
I
in the
will
group?
I will do that. Okay, let me just
Yes.
So how will be the exams?
sorry,
So how will be the exam pattern?
just like second semester.
Huh?
Whatever
Sir?
you had in the second semester, online,
Okay, sir.
Google Form.
Okay, sir.
Anything else? If no, then I'll stop. Okay. Thank you guys. Have a good day and have a happy weekend. Enjoy. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.